people come into my inbox asking if long distance relationships can work, if long distance marriages can last. I'm here to share my perspective. I know people who are in long distance relationships, marriages, and they are thriving. However, from my point of view, from my perspective, I feel like marriage and relationships, especially marriage, are built on proximity. Like the two shall become one. The man is supposed to live and cleave with you, and then now you're not there, So for me, it's a bit tricky. And another reason why I find that it's a bit hard is your love language. Your love language matters when you're thinking about a long distance relationship. Personally, my love language is quality time. So I have quality time and gifts. But quality time is like those ends, I always want to be with my husband, spend time, talk, just be in his presence as well. Now, if he goes away for like a year, I will not manage. So it's important that you think about your love language before you actually start a long distance relationship or a long distance marriage, because you'll begin to feel like, he doesn't love me, and then that's how another person comes into the picture and then meets that kind of need that you have. So if your love language is quality time, it may be tight. So before you jump into it, think through. But if your love language is like gifts, someone can send you a gift when they are not there. Okay? Touch. If your love language is touch, you're finished. Because when your love language is touch, you want to be touched, you want to be cuddled, you want to be held, you want to be caressed. Now the person is not there, and that's a problem. So for me, that's another reason why I'm very I don't think long distance can work for me, and that's why I don't suggest it to people if your love language is very needs proximity. Okay? Another reason for me, I think long distance relationships are a bit tight is, God told Adam, it's not good for a man to be alone. Until now, he's alone again, Honestly. So I think God's desire was that man and woman are together. So the other reason why I am not so into long distance is parenting. If you are married and you're thinking about long distance relationships, remember in some of my videos I've talked about how parenting needs to be a team effort. You guys, I have told you before, I cannot teach my son to be a man. My husband cannot teach my daughter to be a woman. We both need one another to kind of, work this parenting journey together, because there's something they are missing. And with children, 1 year lost can never be returned. Yes, they'll be okay. You may think they'll be okay. There is something they have lost. Then you find maybe some children with mommy issues, with daddy issues, and things like that. You get? So parenting for me is very key. And I have said this before. For me, even if UN came and gave me the senior position in the US or in Singapore, I love Singapore, I would think 15 times, not thrice. I would think I would not even take that job, because for me it means that my children, would I have come with my children? Would I leave them with their father? Would their father come with me? All those dynamics are a bit tricky. And then you go that side, you're alone, you don't have family to support you. That stuff is hard. Those are my few reasons for not really going into long distance relationships and marriages. And also, even if you're in a relationship and you're not yet married, you're trying to understand one another. You're trying to understand who this person is, what are his values, what are her values. And it's hard when someone is away. Yes, you can know a few things here and there, but when someone is so far, people are evolving, are changing, it will be hard. You see, even just normal friendship, like basic friendship, your friend goes out of the country for like 3 years or 1 year. Sometimes you begin to feel the bond just drifting apart. Now imagine a relationship, a marriage. it will be a bit tight. For me, those are the 4 things that make long distance a bit tricky for me. 1, the Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone. 2, the two shall become one. 3, parenting is tricky in a long distance relationship. And 4, love language. I don't see how long distance works in my 4 things. So those are some of my about long distance. Light bulb moment with Lisa. Did you know that only female mosquitoes bite humans? The males are vegetarians? Now that's what we call sacrifice. Men, the mosquitoes are teaching. Take notes! Like we have seen, long distance is not for everyone. But there are some people who are actually making it work. And I'm going to share a few things that could make long distance work. The first one, before you get into a long distance relationship or long distance marriage, you need to sit down together, talk about it, how hard it's going to be. Don't just massage. Talk in depth. How hard is it going to be for us? And are both of you in agreement? Both of you need to agree. So you don't just say, you've got a job, you're going out of the country for 1 year, 2 years, the next week you're traveling. Take time, reflect, think about all these things, and both of you need to be on the same page. And once you've both agreed, now we can go into the next point, and that is point 2. So now you've agreed. After agreeing, you need to make sure that you're in constant communication. You guys, and you have to be very intentional about it. Those things of saying, I was busy 1 week, 2 weeks you are busy, you have not talked. You need to get a schedule. Get a schedule and know that every night, maybe we'll talk. Or every morning, we will communicate. Or we shall send messages. Calls will be every week. So it needs to be a particular schedule so that everyone knows and kind of falls in line. But those things of just, we shall talk. You're busy, work, school, all these things take over, and you find that you've not talked to your partner a whole month or in 2 weeks. That's not healthy. So if you want to make the marriage work or the relationship, constant communication is key. You can't leave it to chance. When I'm available, remember, even when you've traveled or when you're far away, maybe time difference, you have to put it in perspective. When the other person is sleeping, this one is waking up, so you're tired. Remember, you've agreed, you've thought about how hard it is. Now you need to stick to those schedules. That's what's going to help that long distance work. The third tip is that you need to be transparent. Don't leave room for error. You didn't say that you are out with friends. You didn't say where you were last night. Like, you need to be open. And this helps you to just, when you're always just sharing, it gives the other person trust. Like, it's not that the person has asked you for all this information, but you're just laying it all out so that someone sees that, hey, there's nothing you need to be afraid of. I can call at any time, and you're free to answer my call and things like that. So transparency is key. Don't leave anything out. You've gone out with some other girls, maybe they are your classmates or your workmates or your colleagues. You didn't say. Next time you're talking about Jennifer. Next week you're talking about Jennifer again. Your wife needs to be knowing what Jennifer, what's up? And vice versa, please. Don't only think Jennifer's, even Andrews and all Ronalds. Talk about them. Talk about them. So that you just don't leave any room for the devil to tempt you. Because sometimes you're out with Ronald, and then just we went as colleagues. And then the next week, hey, can we go for lunch again? Akasta, we're going in a group, you go. The next time Ronald is like, hey, let's go alone to the, you're not telling your husband. You just open. If there's nothing to hide, just say it. You just say it. You'll be relieved. You'll be set free. So transparency in long distance is very key. That's what I think can work. The next tip that would help make your long distance work is doing some sort of activities together. Praying. You need to pray together. It may be in video calls. It may be over just audio calls. Send audios on WhatsApp. you need to pray to cover that relationship. It can be hard, it can be tight, I'm telling you, and it's, you know, it leaves holes for the devil to come and tempt anyone. But please cover it with prayer. Can you, maybe if you have children, let them see their father, talk to them, play, spend time, you know. Can even have a date night if you need to, like over video call. You know, you cook food the other side, he cooks food the other side, and you kind of share a meal together, you know. So those small activities will help you feel like you're bonding, yeah, in ways that you cannot, in ways that will make you feel like you're together. So activity is really important. Please don't leave these things to chance. There's no unnecessary activity. You do whatever it is. If you're reading a book, tell him about it, how interesting it was. Can he read it too? Can you read devotions together? Those are some of the tips that are going to help you make your long distance work. Now, the final tip, very important. Plan on when it's going to end. Don't be there. Long distance, I don't know, we shall see how things work. Shall see. Please, is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Like, you all need to know the timeline you're working with. Because after a year, it's not healthy. It's not healthy because now you're not in a marriage. Now you're in other things, even a relationship. How can you hold 1 year and you don't know each other properly? So for some it might work, but please have a plan, because even your mindset kind of changes, you know. When you know you're working with 2 years, you put your mind to it and you focus. But if it's unclear, it's blurry, 1 year passes, let's wait and see how 2 years, 3 years, before you know it, someone has stayed the other side for 10 years. Meanwhile, for you, you're here. Please have a plan, and both of you need to agree to that plan. Those have been my tips for making long distance relationships work. Those have been my thoughts as Lisa Kusiima. Don't come and eat me, you know. And I know many of you have been in these relationships, or you've heard about how some have made it, how some have not. Share with us in the comments. Let us know some of the things that we can pick, either good or bad, about long distance relationships and long distance marriages. We always love to hear from you. My name is Lisa Kusiima, and I'm here to inspire.